All right. What's up, everybody? All right. Hopefully, everybody had a great weekend and also a great week. I know we were filled with some volatility, and that's okay. Nothing new. Of course, where it's expected, we're at all-time highs, and we're definitely, expecting to get some pullbacks here and there. So I guess it's not uh, nothing out of the usual, right? What I want to start off of here is always just to remind you guys that we are trading at these all-time highs. I think the market's just been rocking and rolling past few months, just past whole year. I mean, since COVID, everything's just been rocking and rolling. There's really no reason to be bearish yet. Okay, being bearish is when you create a supply and you do a proper retest, and then you start to break down. And just in general, like finding multiple sectors in the market that start to trend down, and then creating a lot of supply zones, and then breaking down to the for the trend to continue down with the market. One thing I did notice though, just to be on the right page, that we did drop in the market, but the volume was very low. Okay, usually when the market has volatility, it creates a lot of buying or selling pressure, either one way or the other. And no matter what it is, the volume will increase. When the volume increases, it gives you more of a confirmation that that move was strong. But also it's a multiple of things happening, that you have buyers and sellers coming in, that the next day usually will provide you with that direction of whether or not it was a buyer or a seller, whichever one it may be, whichever one comes first. Okay, so first thing to note of, guys, yes, we did have a nice red candle. The VIX even pushed up, but again, everything was on low volume. Okay, whether you call it volatility or not, it was low volume. All right, make sure you guys understand that before you come on here and start thinking everything is super bearish. Be aware that we can potentially continue down if we come in this week with volume. Okay, so that's what you're going to look for. You're going to look for volume to come into this market to continue and to confirm that this is coming down. If it doesn't, the volume will come in and bring it back to where it belongs, to bring it back into the 45 level, and then go test these all-time highs, and then create all-time highs again, like it normally has. Every time we end up dropping like that heavily, that's what happens in the market. So just a characteristic to point it out to you guys, totally up to you how you take this information and how you react. Okay, so I still think that the market is doing fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Seeing red candles is pretty nice, and then looking for those bottom supports is even nicer when you're able to buy the dip. So in case we do come down, I think the 44.50 would probably be the break to continue to the downside. And I honestly will only be looking for these levels down here, for the base down here at 44.14. And then you got that bottom at like 43.75 with the little 43.70 area. Okay, that 43.70 would probably be the area where I start to look for levels to buy the dip at, just in general in the market. That's what I would personally look for if we head into this level and we base out right here. It's only if we continue to the downside. All right, I'm not really too worried, like I said, but anything can change, overnight. Any catalyst can happen. Oh, and again, that's another thing. There's really no major catalyst here to drop the market. So FYI. Other than that, anything over that 45 and that 45, what is this, 1350? I will most likely still be bullish, and we will reclaim that area to create this as a demand, and then just make all-time highs. Okay, so that's just that on ES. Yeah, let's take a look at NQ. For NQ, I have everything marked down here for supply and demand levels. Just in case we do end up breaking down, this is the level, the little base that I'm going to be looking for, which is your 153, and then your 150. 1537 area. The next level would be down here This 152, I have this little X where it's going to be my area of buying the dip just because of this full base down here. Again, that's only if it comes down. I'm ready for anything that would happen in the market. I really don't care if we go up and down as long as I'm ready for both sides. Anything over that 1554 area, I'm going to go long on NQ. Otherwise, I'm just looking at a lot of this as a nice pullback. RTY, what we have here is we are at a support level right here. We kind of wicked off. So as you can see, this 2220, it's holding right here, this 2222 area. So anything in here, I would be okay with being long. This is a small caps if you guys don't know. The next level to the downside will be this 2190 area. So just in case we do break that 2220, we'll definitely head into this level. Of course, we'll look for 2210, 2200, sorry, 2220, and then 2190, and then 2186. All right. Otherwise, I'm looking for 2280 and 23. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for IWM to just kind of bounce and head in that direction, or we literally just come down like that. Kind of leaning bullish on this one though. Gold VIX. Let's take a look at VIX. All right. Let me show you guys something that might catch your attention. All right, look at this VIX. Let me show you the green candles. All right, here's your green candle. Here's the next candle, super red. Here's your green candle with that wick on top, super red. Here's your green candle, super red. Green candle, next one, red. Green candle, next one, red. Green candle, smack down, red. Green candle, red. Green candle, red. Okay, green candle, red. Here's your green candle. What's the next candle? Potentially red. Okay. Just showing you guys some characteristics. It doesn't have to happen this way, but I'm gonna keep it that simple. And that's it. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep an eye on the VIX. That's it. Okay. All right, let's go on to financials just to show you guys what we're doing. Financials are right here at a nice support. Let me take this off. Take off that little yellow box just so you guys don't get confused. Here we go, financials, XLF right here. We're at a nice support. If that breaks, we're looking for 37, right? If we bounce, we're looking for the high right there, 38.22. Very simple if you ask me. We are in this nice little downtrend, but again, we're still making higher highs. We still haven't kind of broke that trend. We always get these small trends, guys. Remember that we get a nice uptrend, we get a nice pullback, we get an uptrend, make a higher high. We get that pullback again, and then here we go. We want to make sure that that's the higher low, and we don't want to drop below this. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep on dropping, and then the trend is gonna be your friend, so it's gonna be the put place. Otherwise, we're just kind of hanging out. And of course, anything's gonna happen. Market hasn't opened yet. For me, it's only 10 a.m. We still have all night. We still have all the way till Monday market open. So at pre-market, anything can change. We can literally gap down and be down here for who knows. We can gap up and be way up here. So who knows? All I know is that I have the alerts to the top side, and I want to see financials rock and roll to the top. But for now, it's just this support that we're at. All right, for the next one. I'm gonna skip Jets and DAO. All right, weekly watch this, guys. What I have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got about 7 tickers today that I want to be able to show you guys after just covering the market for you. I want to point out a couple of things that stood out to me this week and how things could potentially change in some of these tickers. And some of them are patterns. But let's start off with Google. I think there was some bad news that happened with Apple that affected Google as well. I'm not 100% sure on exactly what happened. I haven't done a lot of homework on that. So if you guys can, please go do some homework on that news. But again, I personally don't care what was said as long as it can, affect the chart in whichever way it can, whether it's bullish or bearish. It just has to make sense. All right. So I'm going to use a catalyst that can confirm this type of move for Google. Now, you guys know that Google is a very strong stock. It's been holding for such a long time. The last time we created a nice base was down here, and this was at the beginning of the year. Okay, and ever since then, we've just been rolling on up with no major pullback other than this little piece here. But even then, it wasn't, it's literally just pushing on up. All right. It's almost like if every red candle, you can just buy it and let it go and it'll make you money. So a lot of times when I see this, I always like to wait for the supply zones to build. And these sideways movements that everybody calls chop, they're actually accumulation phases where they're cooling off, building supply or building demand. Demand here because it popped to the top and we haven't came down and retest. So this 2750 area is going to be a nice area to retest. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking for Google. I'm looking for Google to basically that just popped over here to this all-time high 29.25. I'm basically just looking for a retest of that, and if we fail, we're most likely going to head down to the bottom of that that level. You have those levels in between, but I'm not too I'm not really going to point those out because they really don't matter to me, just because of the strength that Google has had in the past. It's been very bullish, and since we finally got a catalyst that can potentially drive it down, Google actually got some good volume on Friday's close, and I was actually able to trade some ODTEs on here, which gave me a nice percentage gain. And then now it broke below this little support here that we had. So this was your like cool off before we ran up to an all-time high. So here's your run up, here's your cool off, and then the run up. And then now we created this little base here. All right, let me just take this off. Let me just show you. Here was the little base that it created, and then it dropped. So here's your drop, base, drop, and this can potentially head on down some more. Now, the risk to reward on this, I know for some of you guys, you guys can't really trade the in the money contracts, but even if you grab the 2750, it's not bad on the weeklies. If you grab next week's contracts, of course, only for the bigger accounts out there. I know there's a lot of people that look at this YouTube video, so make sure if you have a huge account, get into some in the monies and just let this thing ride to 2750. If it rides to 2750 and it breaks that 2750, most likely it's going to head down to this 27 psychological level, and then 2692, and then 2680, 84, 2685 around there. So that's the goal and target for Google. I really want to see this drop. So the only way that I would actually hold a swing put position on this is if we do have a red market, is if we do come dropping with some more heavy volume, and if we reject this 2830. Okay, so the way that I'm going to look at this, it's all going to depend on market open. Like I said, market has not opened. We still got pre-market levels, and we still have the initial catalyst reaction, which was Friday, and the breakout of that range. So naturally, when something breaks out like this, you get that retest. Okay, and then you get the rejection, which would create that downtrend. I don't know how far it'll go for the retest, but I am looking for 2844 and 2830. This level right here would have to reject in order for me to grab puts, or just the low of the day. That's it. One of the two, whichever one comes first, that's the put play that I will be grabbing if the opportunity arises. Now, if we have a super green market, then I am not going to be playing puts. If we have a range day or just a red day, then for sure I'll play puts. But if it's a green day in the market, I am not playing puts. All right, let's make that clear. Otherwise, you can be looking for that 2860 and then drive it back down, back up to that 2887 area for Google. So make sure you guys keep watch on Google. The risk to reward is amazing to the downside if we do start to trend all the way down. So keep this alert. If you guys see some major catalyst in the market that can drive it to be bearish, I think Google would give you the better reward if the market comes like correcting or crashing, however you guys may want to input that for your perspective as to a market crash or anything like that. I think Google will give you the better reward out of all the tickers out there. So just an FYI. I mean, other than SPY and trading the futures, this one would give you the better rewards because your risk is literally only on top. So hopefully this kind of helps you guys. But this has a nice way to drop. DDOG. This one is at an all-time high. Okay, so for this one, we have a nice little channel. I'm using these wicks. I normally don't use them, but when it comes to patterns, a lot of people out there have them. So if you guys remember that no matter what platform you're using, somebody out there has the same chart. They're looking at the same thing and they have the same trend line. For something like this makes sense because they have the trend lines right here from wick to wick. They have this wick to wick. Other than that, it should all look the same. So when everything looks the same out there, you always want to consider that and then have the same levels. So I drew it as perfectly as I could. So the 135.30 would be a nice level to go short, because then that'll mean that we're breaking to the downside, and then we're headed again down to the bottom of the pole, whatever you want to call it, right? To the bottom of that trend line. So technically this becomes your target. But DDOG has a good risk to reward when it comes to put plays, just because, again, if the market were to be red, then for sure you'd be looking for puts in the break of this pattern. Unless we break all-time highs, then I really don't see a lot of value in trading this all-time highs, but you definitely can. I do have my alert right there at that 143 level, and over that 143, you for sure just break the all-time highs. Look for 145, and then whole numbers after that. I would look for the 150 psychological with a very, very green market. Otherwise, I would be looking bearish with a range day or a red market. But that's the DOG. So target break 135, 135.50 or 136. A target to this like 130 level. GS is another one that I liked. So again, it goes with financials. I just showed you XLF. XLF was at a support, and then same thing right here for GS. It looks like we started cracking down just a little bit pre-market. So I am going to look for this psychological number. I'm going to look for this piece for a 130, and I'm going to look for 400 to come and hit. If it starts to break, if XLF starts to break to the downside, then GS has a nice potential to hit this 393 and this 390 level. Okay, sorry, 390.140. All right, this little piece, this will be my target for the downside on if financials crack down, right? Otherwise, I'll be bullish over 407. 407, 409.50, definitely be bullish. So KO is another one. It's a safer ticker. They do have dividend payout happening on the 14th. So on Tuesday, usually on those days, I think the stocks like to drop down sometimes in pre-market, and then they get bought up the next day, but sometimes they continue. So the characteristics of this, you would have to just look out for. But one thing I do know is that we are at a nice support right here. It's a small ticker. Anybody can play this ticker. Anybody out there. If you can't play this, then you probably shouldn't be trading. Okay. And then let me just show you what I mean. They're only 30 bucks. All right, even 70 bucks for in the money. And this is next week's contracts. If you look at the weeklies, they're only 15 cents. So 15 bucks. Just FYI. If you had a $100 account, you could trade this with multiple contracts. All right. You can grab like 2 of those weekly contracts, and that's 30 bucks from your account, and you can make a decent play. So yeah, this is very, very, very simple. 55.50, if it breaks, we short it. Otherwise, look for a call play here, just for the bounce all the way to that 56, 56.15 area. And then just look for upside potential. That's it, really. Other than that, you can look for the downside of 55 and 55.30. So it's a very, very simple trade. It doesn't move much. You're literally trading like 0.10, 0.20 cents, 25, 50 if you're lucky. If you get $1, then you get like the biggest move in KO. But nonetheless, it's still a value stock. It still has a lot of good potential in the market. Usually the value stocks don't follow the market as much. But again, if the market is bearish enough, then for sure, I think the whole general market would end up dropping down. And this is a nice support that if we break, we break. If we hold, we hold. It's very, very simple, okay? So keep that on your watch list. The other one is CAT. So just kind of like the same thing that I explained with KO. The only difference here is that CAT's just been getting shorted the past few weeks. We've just kind of, after this huge drop that we had, it's just kind of been basing out at these levels, and it's been trying to push up and trying to push down, but it just can't really find a direction. But as of Friday's close, just to be on the same page, we are right here at a support. So again, it's a very simple trade, guys. All right. There's really no science to this. There's really no confirmation to this as how you can enter this trade. It's simple. It's at support. What do you do when something's at support? You buy, okay? Your stop loss is right below. So there's really no reason for you to take a huge loss. If you're buying a breakout, there's potential that you might take a bigger loss versus something that's at support. I guarantee you guys, if you go in this market and you look for 10 tickers that are at support and you buy them all, I guarantee you that 8 out of 10 will bounce. 8 out of 10 you will make money on, and 2 of those you'll probably get stopped out, and your stop loss will be very, very minimal. All right, you're losing on the account like 1%, but you're gaining like 50. So just an FYI, guys, if you buy at support and your stop is right below, your loss is minimal. Okay, but here you go. This 205.30 and 204.40, it's a nice support. If we crack 205.50, 205.40, we're going to start coming down, and the target is going to be this 202.50. Okay, why do I have that? Because of this candle body here. When this happened, and then we came down here and we bounced at that wick, that same area, 202.40. And we kind of held this area as like a buyer reaction type of level, okay? So here, we have potential to drop that little base, okay? I'm not taking anything away from this. We have potential. Like I said, market has not opened, but it's definitely at a great spot. If we can get this spot here, we literally can take calls all the way into the 207. The breakout will happen at 207.50 psychologically, and people will want to take it long here just to get that extra confirmation to the top, to the 212 to 1250 area. It's very simple, guys. Like I said, there's really no rocket science to this, man. There's nothing that you got to wait for any type of confirmation. Just make sure that when you're trading calls, that the market is with you. If you're trading puts, the market should be against everything else, all across the board. If the market is range, there's a higher potential that your stock may or may not trend that day. So if you get in for the breakout, or if you get in for the downtrend or uptrend, just make sure to trail it real tight, because if the market is range, most likely some of those trends will not continue. So just be careful, okay? So that's CAT. All right. So the other thing that I want to be able to show you guys is what I plan on doing with this 1K account growth. All right. I want to make something very clear that this is not a challenge. Okay. The word challenge, what that means is it's a competition. It's a competition for somebody to reach a certain amount in a certain amount of time. All right. I'm not here for that. I'm not here to spoon feed you and to tell you what to buy and what to sell. That's not what this is about. This account is for growth. Okay. That I want to show you that just with the 1K account, you can set up a game plan. You can look for tickers to match your account size, and you can look for the specific strategy that you would like, and also understand what's happening with the ticker and why we looked at it, why the value is there, why it isn't. Okay. So everything will be in Conservative Collectors. There will be daily videos that I show and post there. If anybody has questions in Conservative Collectors, I will make myself available to be able to ask those questions. But don't come in here thinking that you're going to get a specific signal for this specific play. I'm not going to sit there intraday and tell you, hey, open, buy to open, Jets 22 calls, September 17th, fill, 0.60, and then fill 0.80, take profit. I'm not going to sit there and do that. So doing something like that, it's just following a signal and following somebody that can spoon feed you, okay? I'm not taking anything away from anybody who posts signals, but I'm just making it clear that this is a growth account. By the time that we are done with this series, you guys should be able to open up a chart, understand the value, understand how to look at it, and understand how to set up a game plan for the next day and what contracts to be buying. All the information that you need, it's already posted in Conservative Collectors Daily Watch List and also in the announcements. So if you guys go check it out, everything is posted there freely for the team. If you're not part of that team, feel free, to go in there. Otherwise, you're going to be missing some of those videos that have to do with our daily breakdowns. But you still can come and look at this YouTube series because I will do recaps on Wednesdays. And then next Sunday, I'm going to go do another recap and add another video. So as soon as I'm done with all this, like I said, you should be able to do something for yourself that's not going to involve, taking signals. All right. So you're going to be able to make proper planning, a watch list. You're going to chart. You're going to do create a A+ setup, use a strategy, various strategies explained. You're going to know what execution and market sentiment is, along with an investor's point of view and retail crew. So after that, you guys should be able to take some of these trades and game plan, right? So I'm going to give you guys a first piece today on what is my main focus for next week, not just next week, but for Monday market open. One of the tickers that stand out the most to me is Jets. You guys are probably wondering why Jets. Well, this is Airlines. Okay, well, you're looking for DAL, AAL, UAL, LUV, and SAVE. All these tickers, all right? But I'm going to choose DAL, and I'm going to point out Jets, and we're going to talk about why, all right? So the reason here is Airlines, all right? I see a lot of value in it. I don't think the airlines are going anywhere anytime soon. Unless you guys can tell me that they're going out of business and we're only going to be driving back and forth, and that's the only way that we can transport. If you're telling me that they're going to build a bridge from coast to coast and we only can drive and we can't fly anymore, then by all means I'll shut my mouth and I won't say that there's long-term potential for airlines. But until that happens, I still see a lot of potential in the airlines, and I think that in a couple of years the investor is going to be happy because he's over here loading up, right? I already have leaps for Jets. I have leaps for DAL and AAL. I have 2023. I'm not worried about these next few months and what happens. I'm more worried and expecting the movement in the next year or so, okay? So I am in leaps. Until then, I am keeping an eye on this, and I want the trend change to happen for airlines. I don't care when it happens, but I am ready. If you guys can see all these alerts already that I have set, I have multiple right here. As you can see, here's the next one right there. And then here's the next one, right? So just so you guys are aware that I am watching airlines. I think this is probably one of the best sectors out there because it's the one that's behind in the whole market, and people are still trying to short these. And for me, the more red candles that I see, the better it is, because the value pops out to me the most. Okay, if you guys ask me to trade Facebook versus Jets, I would rather trade Jets versus Facebook any day of the week as of right now. Okay, so it's all about value. Okay. So I want to give you guys the perspective as to why Jets, that's what it was. Here is your support, 22.22. Why? Look at this piece here. We tried to go up, we came down. Here, we got rejected, but we came inside, and then we gapped up, and then we started rolling to this top. We landed right at that perfect spot, 22.22. So just like I mentioned about CAT and KO, when you guys see something at support, what do? You're supposed to buy. Where's your stop loss? Right below. The stop loss below is going to depend on who you are as a trader. You can have a percentage stop loss. You can have a stop loss based on the previous wick. You can have a stop loss based on the pre-market. You can have a stop loss based on monetary aspect. All this falls on who you are as a trader and how you can handle those emotions. If your stop loss is 10 cents on a ticker, let it be so. The next person can still be in the trade and his stop loss is $1. Okay. The next person can have a stop loss of 30%. That's on him. All these choices and all these stop losses will depend on who you are as a trader with your emotions. That's it. Very simple, right? So if this does break 22.20, the next target is going to be this 21.85, 87. Okay, that's the automatic target. After this 21.85, we're heading down to these candle bodies down here of 21.50 to the low of 21.31. Okay, let's be ready for the downside. Otherwise, I'm looking for the uptrend and I'm looking for the first target of 22.70. Okay, Jets is not a huge mover. It moves a few cents in a day. So if it does have a nice green day, it's because something is happening in the airlines and they're all at support or they're all at resistance, whatever it may be, but something is popping off. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. There was good volume here the previous day on that Thursday, which drove it all the way up. And on airlines, I was able to capture some of those moves. And then Jets, just again, the next day, just rejected. And this low level up here has been a strong rejection for quite some time. So I do over that 23.50 and 23.75. That's going to be the breakout level and the trend change completely for Jets and airlines in general. So make sure you guys keep those specific alerts because I don't want to come over here later and say, I told you so. This is the level that needs to break for a nice trend change to see that huge reward to the top side. Okay. That's what I'm looking for. This type of move is what I'm going to be looking for. So yeah, Jets is going to be part of the 1K account growth. I'm going to be watching this to trade DAL. Okay. So wherever direction that the Jets moves, that's the direction that I'm going to be looking for DAL to go. DAL again, 39.30 and 39 is your support. Your stop loss right below. Your targets 40, 40, 50, 41, 42, and 41.50. And this is the breakout range, the 41.70 area. The 41.70, like I said, if Jet starts breaking out, DAL will break out as well. As of right now, we're still hanging out sideways. It's okay. Let it accumulate, let it build base. And I want to be able to day trade as much as I can on this specific ticker, okay? This is going to be my trade for tomorrow. I want to look for a nice dip buy here. If the market is red, I am not buying the dip. I will most likely play the puts to the downside for DAL, but the minute I enter puts, I am going to trail it real tight. Every 10, 15 cents, I'm going to trail it. I'm going to make sure that I take profit right away, okay? If we have a nice green market, I am looking to buy the dip and my stop loss is right below 39, literally 10 cents, okay? If I enter at 39, my stop loss is 38.90, very, very tight. DAL is not a huge mover, like I said. Some of these tickers are smaller moves, so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for consistency. I'm looking for my place to work out. I'm not looking for huge returns. I'm not looking for 1,000 percentage plays, 100 percentage plays. I'm looking for a consistent build to be able to grow my account. I don't care if the contract moves 0.20. I don't care if it moves 0.30. I want to be able to be consistent in the type of strategy that I'm using and be consistent in the levels that I am looking for and understanding what the market is going to do when these hit levels. That's it. That's all I want to do. I want to have that growth versus the signal. All right. So like I said, if we have a green market, I'm looking to buy the dip. If we have a red market, I'm looking to short below 39. Very simple. Okay. There's nothing to it. My target is 40. Like I said, 40, 50, 41, 41, 50 to the top side. All right. But this is the entry for calls right here. 39.30 and 39. Puts below 39. All right. Make it very clear. The target down here, 38.60. And then there's like this little gap here that people might want to trade. So 38.30 to the low of like 38 and 37.30. So definitely has potential to crack if it does come down with Jets. But nonetheless, I'm looking for calls. But yeah, that's going to be part of the 1K account, guys. A more of the levels will be posted in the server in Conservative Collectors. So if you guys want to join or be part of this journey and understand the growth process, everything's going to be posted in Conservative Collectors, just like I said earlier, right? So I hope this weekly watch list can help you guys, take some green trades. And then just to go back over, it's going to be Google. Okay, remember, kind of leaning bearish on Google. DDOG is more of a pattern. We're looking to break this piece right here at 135, 135.30. GS, if financials do come down, GS does have potential to come down to this level of 393, and then for sure have that little gap fill. KO, very simple trade. It's at support. It's break above or break below. CAT, we have something that support again, has potential to just give it that one more leg down. Otherwise, I'm looking for this to base out and hold for potential calls. Okay. And then I also have Jets for the 1K, and DAO is the one that I'm going to be trading for the 1K account. If you guys want to take a look at Jets Airlines, you want to look at AAL. It's at support. UAL looks like it ended up coming down to the bottom. It's probably going to come down here to this like 44. LUV looks like we're at support. Okay. Save, same thing. Looks like we're at support. So almost look like we're breaking down on save, just to be honest. But if we can reclaim that 24.30, 24.40, it'd be a call play. And then of course, I'm sure you guys can all go chart BA. I don't got a chart BA just because everybody else out there does this ticker anyway. So yeah, I hope this can guide you guys this week. I expect another video on Wednesday. I'll probably give you a couple more tickers and just kind of update you on everything that just happened. So this is the watch list. I mean, not including all the airlines, but definitely Google, DDOG, GSKO, CAT, DAL, and Jets. I will definitely be trading those this week, and I'll let you know how everything went. And if you guys can, let me know how it's going. Don't be shy to message us in Conservative Collectors. Don't be shy to comment in the comments down below for the YouTube video. Tag us on the Instagram. Do whatever you guys got to do. Let us know how it's going. But yeah, that's it for the weekly watch list. That's it for the market analysis. And hopefully this week we get a nice green day, a nice green week, and we make all-time highs to that 4,600 level. That would be pretty awesome. So either way, be ready for both sides, guys. No need to be biased on anything. Look for puts, look for calls, your option traders. So if this market crashes, well, just make sure you're on the right track. If this market makes all-time highs, make sure you're on that same train. So wherever it may go, whatever direction the stock may go, have alerts ready, be ready 100%. Don't think twice to execute your position. Just make sure that you're 100% comfortable with the size position that you have, and don't let emotions to get in the way. All right. So I'll see you guys on the accounts growth. I'll see you at Conservative Collectors, or I'll just plain and simple see you on Wednesday. All right, guys. You guys have a good one and have a green week.